All right, what's going on, everybody out there? It's Ron Brown. I'm taking the LMT off now. No more LMT. We're gonna just go with Ron Brown. Uh, that's the name my father my father gave me. Right, my father gave me Ron. I'm going with that. In other circles, I'm Ron something else and something else. So, but on this podcast, I'm Ron Brown from now on. So let's go with that. Thank you all for coming out this evening. I really appreciate it. Thank you to those who are viewing later. Thank you to those who are listening on Spotify, Apple, and all these different platforms. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Also, on those other apps, on Spotify, Apple, and all those, I want you to, if you can, we would greatly appreciate it if you rate the podcast. So you have a star where you can make it a 3-star, or 4-star, 5-star, whatever, whichever one you choose. But we're about to go in it, go into the origins of the true origins of Christianity with the brother Ahmed EL Shabazz. How you doing this evening, brother?
I'm doing most well. Thank you, my brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, brother.
Yes, sir.
So
how
now,
you been? How you been, my brother?
Oh man, I'm doing well, man. I'm enjoying life and learning a lot of life lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And I take the good with the bad. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I love it. I love, one thing about me, I'm not afraid of pressure. I actually like pressure. You know what I mean? So, as they say, pressure bust pipes, so they make diamonds, right?
That part.
Exactly.
That part. Yes, sir. Exactly.
So how you doing?
I'm doing excellent. All praises due to Allah. And good to be back on. And just want to go through some history. It's nothing personal. I hope people don't get angry. This is just history and theology. Okay, not religion. There's a difference. Okay. So we're gonna go through some historical facts from various positions. Not going to be one-sided. So I have a bunch of quotes that we can go through and some comparisons of mythologies. Okay. So we have concerning the prophet Isa. That's the man they call Jesus, right?
Right.
And they formed a religion around this particular person this time around. So we're going to go through the various stages of how they came up with Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have a quote here from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, may peace be upon him. He stated, Christianity is not the true religion of God. It is a division of religions and uses a division of God, which makes it impossible to establish true love and unity of brotherhood, end quote. History bears witness to that statement. Remember, in the temples of the Nation of Islam, they have a blackboard. And I must say this, if you walk into a temple in the state of the Nation of Islam and you don't see that blackboard, walk out. Okay? There's much history on that blackboard. And on that blackboard, it has the question, which one was about a war of Armageddon? One side it says Christianity, suffering, shame, and death, has a person being lynched on the tree. On that side, on the other side, the flag of Islam with freedom, justice, and equality. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. And the American flag and etc. So it's comparing the two entities. All right.
Right.
All right. So we're going to get to this. It's not just, this is a fact. The black man was forced into Christianity. Not just black people, but all non-Caucasians. Even Caucasians was forced into it. All right. So if you look at the history of the Crusades, you'll see there were many Christians as well as other religions that the Crusaders killed. They killed a great many of the Jewish community in Europe on the way to Jerusalem. They also killed a lot of Christians that lived in Jerusalem, along with the Muslims. So that was spread by the sword. But what is Christianity? Okay, so if you read here, I have another statement. This is from Pope Leo the 10th. It has served us well, this myth of Christ. Did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
It has served us well, this myth of Christ. Pope Leo the 10th. This is 1475 to 1521. That's when he lived. I have another quote. When we say that he, Jesus Christ, our teacher, was produced without sexual union, was crucified and died and rose again and ascended into heaven, we propound nothing different from what you believe regarding the sons of Jupiter. End quote. That's from Justin the Martyr. Here's President John Adams. The doctrine of the divinity of Jesus has made a convenient cover for absurdity.
Mm.
We're the founding fathers, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Another quote. Let's bear with me. I like to quote, bring the receipts, as the young folks say, right?
Yes, sir.
Not from just one source, but from many. All right, have another quote. Egyptian culture was highly influential in the creation of Judaism and Christianity, both of which carnalized and historicalized much of the mythos and rituals in their scripture. Indeed, many scholars have insisted that the Bible is entirely Egyptian.
Wow.
Going on the state. And that deep. The entire Christian Bible, creation legend, descent into and exodus from Egypt, the ark, the flood allegory, the Israelite history, the Hebrew prophecy and the poetry, the gospels, the epistles, and the revelation imagery are all now proven to have been the transmission of an ancient Egyptian scrolls and papyri into the hands of later generations. And that is from the book, The Christ Conspiracy, page 266. Going on the same book. Now I'm in with this book here, with this quote for the time. In reality, Christianity was a product of a multinational cabal composed of members of a variety of schools, and was designed to empower and enrich such individuals and unify their empire. To do so, these conspirators took a myriad of myths and rituals, virtually all known cultures, and combined them into one, producing a God-man to beat them all. The Christ Conspiracy, page 289 and 290. All right, so she said it's Egyptian, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's prove it. All right. So if you look at the Egyptian mythos of Isis, Horus, and Osiris, that's the root of it. All right. And Isis is Greek name, but the original name was Aset, the Kemetic name.
Right.
The very word Egypt is Greek. And we have to keep in mind, as we discussed in the previous broadcast, the Greeks were the first colonizers. They're the first colonizers. Remember, we went over stolen legacy. There's no such thing as Greek philosophy. And whatever they did learn, they learned from the Kemites.
Right.
Which were the so-called Egyptians. Okay. So we got Haru, which is the Greeks called Horus. But he's Haru. And then you have Ansar, which the Greeks call Osiris, which, by the way, Osiris was later worshipped by the Romans and the Greeks. He's Kemetic, though. All right. So some 3,000 years before Paul's letters and before the New Testament was even thought about, the people of Kemet told a story about a virgin giving birth to a god. With a star marking his birth, 12 disciples who performed miracles, who was betrayed, who was killed, and 3 days in darkness he rose from the grave. The Kemetic called him Haru or Horus. Now compare that story of Horus or Haru to the man they called Jesus, and you see why the church kept that a secret for the past 2,000 years, for the most part, until just 100 years ago. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Horus, he was announced by a star in the east. That sounds familiar, right?
Yes, sir.
Got 3 kings came to honor him. At the age of 12, he astonished the temple elders with his wisdom. Remember in the story in the Bible, Jesus did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He went before the rabbis and confounded the rabbis, or the doctors, as they say in the book, right? When Horus was 30 years old, he was baptized in a river by a man named Hanup, the baptizer. And this predates John the Baptist by many centuries. Now, after the baptism, Haru began to perform miracles. He healed the sick. He walked on water. He raised the dead. He was called the Lamb of God, the Son of Man, the light of the world, and the Good Shepherd. He was crucified and buried, and on the 3rd day, he rose from the dead. So that proves that statement that the author wrote that I quoted. The entire Bible is Egyptian.
Right.
Okay.
But now that quote, the entire Bible is Egyptian.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now I
remember in our lessons, who wrote Bible and Holy Quran and how long ago?
Right.
There's your answer. Right?
Yeah.
It's 25,000 years ago. We write Bible and the Holy Quran. Right? A lot of Asiatic black men of the world. That's right. See, there again. And what was the area that the original man in our lessons chose the best part for himself? The rich Nile Valley of Egypt and the mother city in Mecca.
Yeah, the Holy City.
Crescent, right? Right. This is in line with what we're taught from the messenger. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And he's being verified in up-to-date times, right? After the fact. All right. Okay.
Now I know about the mythological story of Asa, Aset, and Heru, and Set, and how Asa was cut up into some pieces and then thrown in the Nile River, and that whole story, and then Horus is born out of that, and he came back to avenge his father's death, and against Set. So I know that part of that story. However, do you have anything else to kind of corroborate that statement that the Bible, the entire Bible, is Egyptian? Because that's the only part of the Bible that I know coincides with the Kemetic mythos story,
or the creation story. Okay, in the beginning, the gods created the heavens and the earth. That's a mistranslation in the book of Genesis. Elohim. That's the gods. Okay, and if you look at the Egyptian creation story, you see the same similarities.
Okay.
Okay, about Atum Ra and Ptah. Okay, the father, Ptah. Okay, and Atum. All right, which is in line with the messenger taught us, right?
Right.
Okay, that Allah created himself from an atom of water. The Holy Quran bears witness, all life begins in water. Okay? We were taught these things, right? That's right. So it's there. But that, the people, they kept that, they wrote it under a whole bunch of symbolism. Okay, and allegory. Okay, and a lot of mistranslations. Okay, because actually they didn't figure out what the Meta language was, the so-called hieroglyphic was, until recently, like 200 years ago, if it wasn't for the Rosetta Stone. Okay, they were doing guesswork. Okay, a lot of guesswork, but we can see these comparisons of mythologies. We have the Persians. They had their own version of Horus. Okay, he was known as Mithras. And this cult had already spread across the Roman Empire centuries before Paul and the early writings were even of the Gospels. Okay, so Mithras, nearly the same story. Mithras, born in a cave on the 25th of December, and like Horus and later Jesus, he had 12 disciples, etc., etc. Okay, and so you had the ritual meal of bread and wine. It was a symbology of the Last Supper that you have in the Christian faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he died and descended and was resurrected. And Mithraism was the religion of the Roman military. It was a secret religion. They were Mithraic. Okay, they have a picture of a man with a Phrygian hat on, cap, riding a bull, trying to wrestle a bull. Okay, that's their symbology. And they have a ritual of bread, the wine and the bread ritual. Same imagery you have in the Last Supper. Okay. Eat of my body. That's the bread is supposed to be symbolic of the bread of Jesus, and the wine is his blood, right?
Right.
All right. Then you have Dionysus. He was the Greek god of wine. He was born of a virgin who was and his father was Zeus. He had a miraculous conception. And his most famous event was turning water into wine. Another Jesus story in the Bible, correct? He was killed, went to the grave, rose again in 3 days, etc., etc. Okay. There was also Atis, and he was worshipped in Turkey. He was born of a virgin named Nana, and who became a god man, and whose death was a cosmic sacrifice. He died tied to a tree. He was mourned for 3 days, and on the third day, he rose from the dead. And the resurrection ceremony his resurrection ceremony always happened during the spring equinox, just like Easter. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Which is another pagan thing. All right. So you got the same lunar calculations and the dates of Easter. The next example I'm going to give will be Krishna. All right. Krishna is the black one. And this is where the word Christ originated from. Krishna was one of the avatars for the Hindu god Vishnu. Krishna was born of a virgin named Devaki. His death was announced by a star in the east. An evil king named Kamsa was warned by a prophecy that this child would overthrow his rule. So he ordered the killing of all the male infants at that time. That coincides with what you find in the Bible with King Herod. Okay, killing the firstborns because he had a prophecy that a Messiah would be born. All right. So Krishna healed the sick. He raised the dead. He had 12 followers. He was called the Lamb of God, the Son of Man, etc., etc. Okay. So Paul's writings. Paul is problematic. He's really the inventor of the Christian religion, if you can say that. All right. Paul. It's the Gospels according to Paul in the Bible. You don't see the Gospels according to Jesus. It's the Pauline doctrine. How come it's not called the Jesus doctrine? Or the Isa doctrine? Or the Christ doctrine? It's called by Paul. Okay? So Paul's letters were written in 50 current era. He never met Jesus. He had a vision. Paul was a Jewish Pharisee. He was a Roman citizen. He used to persecute the followers of Jesus. He used to be a persecutor of Jesus's followers. All right. After the death of Jesus, he used to persecute the followers of Jesus's teachings. But on the road to Damascus, he had a vision. He had a vision that he saw Jesus in the sky. He fell down on his knees, and changed his name from Saul to Paul. All right. Now, what's interesting about him is that he worked with a man for about a year's time, according to the history that we have, named Barnabas, whose actual real name was Yusef. All right. So he worked with Barnabas, who actually heard Jesus, saw Jesus, heard Jesus speak personally. He was the primary source of what Jesus taught. All right. Mm-hmm. He knew Jesus was not crucified. So that's what made Paul and Barnabas fall out. They only worked with each other for about a year. Okay. The Gospel of Barnabas. That's one of those books that the Vatican banned, or the Roman Catholic Church banned.
Wow.
Yeah, they banned that book. Okay. See, the whole point with the Constantine at the time, 325 AD, some 325 years after Jesus, the man they called Jesus, or Isa, at the Council of Nicaea. Okay, the book of Barnabas was banned. It was called apocryphal, or dangerous. And if you were caught with that book, they would kill you.
Mm.
If you mention Yusef or his title, Barnabas' name, they'll kill you. See, the meaning of his name, Barnabas, was the son of encouragement. Okay. And his name was Yusef. And he's one of the first people to hear the message of Isa. So he was a primary source. So that's why he was problematic for the church, the formation of the Roman Empire, the Romish church, the Catholic Church. Okay. So as I stated, Barnabas saw Isa. He lived in the same time as Isa. Okay. And he wrote his gospel. He heard Isa's direct message of Islam. All right. So that's why he was problematic. So here, the opening of the book of Barnabas goes as such. I, Barnabas, from Cyprus, write faithfully what was revealed to the Messiah by Rahu Kadus, which means Jibril or Gabriel. Okay. From the Lord of the worlds, exactly as I heard from Isa, as the fourth copy after 48 heavenly years. Okay. And see, both Bible and the Quran tells you that Jesus was not crucified on the cross. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad also told us how Jesus was killed.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You said the Bible doesn't say anything about Jesus being crucified on the cross.
I mean, you're like dying on the cross, I should say.
Oh, okay.
Let me clarify that. That's the word. He did not die on the cross. Okay. And historically, he wasn't crucified either on the cross. The true story that where we have it from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and Master Farad Muhammad. Jesus was killed by Roman soldiers. And when they stabbed Jesus, he made the form of a cross. All right. That's in the true history of Jesus by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Then his father, in the historical fact, not the religion, Jesus' father, Yusef, had his body embalmed in a glass tube. And he's buried under the Mosque of Omar in Jerusalem. And according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you were able to get a letter for Christians to go see the body of Jesus and others. You had to get a letter from the Pope. Pay $6,000 at that time to get a letter from the Pope to go see the body of Jesus. They had to be blindfolded and led there to see it. to see his body. He looks at the day like he died. This was the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and no one called him a liar. All right. Even the Pope in the 50s, in the paper, the doctor, after that Pope had died in the 50s, he was in the paper on record saying that they were going to bomb that Pope's body the way Jesus' body was embalmed. So they knew he was coming back from the dead. Okay, this is what's going back to that Pope Leo X. This has served us well, this myth of Christ. Okay, that's an admission. Jesus' body is buried under the Mosque of Omar. That's in our lessons also, brother. Why did we take Jerusalem and how long ago?
Right.
One of my brothers, it was a prophet, was buried there.
By the name of Jesus.
By the name of Jesus.
Right.
That's it. Okay. All right. So we bearing witness, coming with receipts. Okay. So this, the whole point of coming up with a religion called Christianity, Constantine was about to
share their dirty religion. And the lesson said to share their dirty
religion, right?
Share their dirty religion.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
The Roman Empire, he had to solidify the Roman Empire. Constantine did. This is what that Council of Nicaea was for. So he had to come up with a mythos that would solidify the different nationalities in the Roman Empire. Christianity, okay, based on various Egyptian mythos, Persian, etc., etc. But it goes back to Egypt. You got the Mithras, you got the Vishnu, Krishna, you got the Persian, Mithras, you have the Egyptian Horus, Dionysus for the Greeks. And on a close examination, and scholars of the Bible would tell you that the four Gospels were written for four different demographics. Right. So if it was in Egypt, the Roman occupation in Egypt, you'd be familiar with a Horus. They're familiar with Horus. They get a Jesus story that's similar to Horus, and so forth and so on. Okay. That's what this is about. They couldn't beat it, so they had to join it and control Jesus' message from the inside. Infiltration.
Right.
That's all. That's all that was. So the Council of Nicaea met in 325 AD. This is when 2,048 religious leaders met to settle on one central question. Who is Isa, or who is Jesus? There were two main groups. One group said that Isa is God himself. And the other group was the opposing group led by Irenaeus. And he said, in quote, there's only one God and Isa is his messenger. That's Islam. Okay. That Isa is he went on to state that saying that Isa is the little son of God is wrong. So the real purpose of this council was not to find a theological truth. It was political. And the Romans had tried for years to stop the followers of Isa by force. And when force failed, they decided to control it from the inside out. So they took the Roman sun god Apollo myth and applied it to Isa. That's where you get the halos around the head of the angels and the saints and Jesus. Yes, all of that, brother. Sun worship.
Exactly.
Astrotheology.
What's so funny is they would call everyone else a pagan.
Yes.
When they're dealing with paganism themselves.
Exactly. Exactly.
That is the craziest. You understand what kind of world we're living in right here? Like,
now you see why everybody messed up?
Yeah, brother. It's bad.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Then to top it off, brother, after they came over with the new God, which was the same old gods, that's repackaged. They took and they went and built churches on top of the sites of the pagan temples. So in some cases, just retrofitted the temples. Some they knocked down and replaced.
Wow.
Right? Theodosius closed down all the Kemetic ones because that was problematic. That's the source of everything. So they had to hurry up, close those down.
Right.
Okay. Jig would have been up. Wait a minute. These black people had an Isis, and that's not really what they're talking about. That's not really what it's talking about. That sun worships. Okay. Our people was much smarter than that. Okay. But they, their interpretation of it. Okay. Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. So they kind of around turned to call the pagans, killing them. And they doing the same thing. Now, if you read J.A. Rogers' book, Sex and Race, he goes through a whole litany of when the Catholic Church used to worship a Black Mary and a Black Jesus. They're all in the basement of those churches now. And the reason being, how are you going to enforce chattel slavery with all these colonial edicts from the Vatican? Because the Vatican issued an edict that they had a right to invade any land that wasn't Christian and force those people into Christianity. So as they've gone on this colonial expansion, you can't say that Black people weren't nothing and deserve to be slaves and at the same time worship a Black Mary and Black Jesus. So they had to change the color. You read J.A. Rogers' books, he has many examples of Europeans worshiping Black Jesus, with the Black Madonna, as they call it. But you don't see that over here in the United States. They hardly touch it. Okay. A lot of pastors won't even say it, period. Okay. And they know all of this. The average pastor learns this in seminary school. What I'm talking about tonight, they know this. All right. When they're making a merchandise out of the people, that's the 10%. They're making a merchandise out of the people, teaching them lies about a spook god.
Right.
All right.
Bloodsuckers of the poor.
There you go. There you go. So here's another book here on the reason why they really use Christianity. So I have a book. This is a very old book. It's 100 years old. Well, 99 years old. It's White Man's Dilemma, 1927. Falling apart on me. If you can see it.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
What author is that?
Nathaniel Pfeffer, Peffer. This is published by the John Day Company, 1927. This is the title of the book is called The White Man's Dilemma, the Climax of the Age of Imperialism. 1927. And he spilled the beans. Now remember, this is 1927. We're not buying these books where we're as Black people. They probably wouldn't even sold us the book. Many of us didn't know about it and probably couldn't afford it. All right. $2 for a book, that was a lot of money. 1927.
I would know.
Well, from the elders, from my perspective, what I was told, you could buy a pound.
Well, 1927 is before the Great Depression, right?
Yeah. Things are still reasonable.
Yeah.
All right. So he has a quote here really explaining how Christianity was used against people of color, Black people and other people of color. 1927, we're going to read from page 133. Now, here in Europe and America, where we take our Christianity with common sense, where the tenet of peace on earth is expected to hold only when there are no enemies, where the doctrine that one cannot worship God and mammon is applied pro rata, 6-day mammon and 1-day God, where the statement of turn the other cheek is obeyed only when there is nobody who dares smite, and where we agree that blessed are the meek only if they inherit the earth. Here, Christianity raises no insurmountable difficulties. We have learned to understand each other in these matters as practical men, but the black, brown, and yellow man took his Christianity literally. It was given to him straight out of the Gospels and without any of the unwritten interpretations we take for granted. And one hesitates to say it, but Christianity, as it stands in the Gospels, is the most subversive doctrine ever enunciated to mortal man. Period. End quote.
So it said it was taken from the gospel. So the gospel of Paul?
No, the Gospels, period. He's talking about the whole Bible. Okay, it was given to us straight out the gospel, literally, without any of their unwritten interpretations, because they know what it means. Okay, we didn't know what we were reading until the Honorable Elijah Muhammad explained to us what the Bible is. Okay, and how it was used against us and how to read it so we can apply it, but also focus on that Holy Quran. All right. All right. So they chose the 4 Gospels from hundreds of Gospels and then burned the rest. This is at the Council of Nicaea. All right. They labeled the Gospel of Barnabas as heretical and rejected it. And they banned the Gospel of Barnabas. And during the Inquisition, the Spanish Inquisition, you could get killed if you even had one or even mention the man's name, Barnabas. So Yusuf.
Barnabas. We got
Gospel of Barnabas. Yes, sir.
The Gospel of Barnabas, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a The Forgotten. This is a good book if you can find it. I've had this about 40 some years.
Nice.
That's
Barnabas.
Yeah. And this is the author's name, if you can see it.
Saint Barnabas. Why does that sound familiar?
That was a Christian, he's a Christian saint.
Okay.
When people, they don't even know who he is, really.
Would that have anything correlation with Barbados?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
I know.
Oh, we got my brother Ben in the building. What's up with Ben? Peace to you, brother. Peace to you, brother. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So we have here, we got to remember their job was to keep all light from coming to the black man, right? And I have a statement here. This is in Message to the Black Man by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he put a quote in here from a Virginia representative. All right. So he has a quote from Henry Berry as saying, quote, Henry Berry as saying, while speaking in the Virginia House of Delegates in 1832 and describing the situation that existed at the time in many parts of the South, quote, we have as far as possible closed every avenue by which light may enter the slave's mind. The avenue of light of Allah you are unable to shut out from coming to us. This is what the messengers, he has this in parentheticals. Mm-hmm. But you see the man's quote. We have as far as possible closed every avenue by which the light may enter the slave's mind. If we could extinguish the capacity to see the light, our work will be complete. They would then be on the level with the beasts of the field, and we should be safe. I'm not certain that we would not do it, but if we could find out the process and the process, and that on the plea of necessity, end quote. That's the reason why Black people in North America couldn't read for 300 years.
Oh, man.
Okay, it was against the law. And if they caught you with a King James Bible, they would have killed you.
Now, what's something to think about? You said we couldn't read for how many years?
They kept the Bible out of our hands for 300 years.
They kept
for the
Bible.
first 300 years of the Bible's existence. The only people that could read that book, okay, were nobles. If a woman was caught with it, and if a Black person was caught with it, we were killed if we said our prayers in our mother tongue, right? They would pull our tongues out. They used to cut the mother's tongue on these slave farms to keep her from teaching the children their native language. And if a child heard it, they would put wax in their ears. I'm telling you history.
Brother, this is, listen, man. And then you already know about the alligator bait later on down the road. Like, our people suffer so much trauma, brother.
Trauma.
And I think it's still in our DNA to this day.
It's going to take a minute to get that out of us.
I think if it was 400 years, it's going to have to be another 400 years to get over it.
We got all the time in the world. There's no end to us.
Right, exactly.
No end to the Black man.
Exactly.
All right. There's no end to us. We're not on the time clock. Somebody else, whoever's a race, they have a time limit. Okay. And their time is out, and then the extension of time has now nearly run out. They know who I'm talking about. Okay. They have an extension. They had an extension. Their time ran out in 1914. Again, this book right here that I held up, I'm not going to hold it up and try to open it anymore. It's falling apart. White Man's Dilemma. Okay? He admitted that their time was up in 1914. That was the end of their unity.
That's in the Supreme Wisdom.
Oh, the White Man's Dilemma.
It's in that book.
He said, our unity ended then when we gave our enslaved and subject people permission to kill us, kill one another. They gave the Black and the brown people permission to fight and kill white people in World War I. He said the gods were supposed to fall out in private, not in public. You got it? See, World War I marked the end of their white supremacy unity. And from 1914 onward, they've been falling. See, 7 nations ganged up on the original man in Africa and here in the North America. 7 European nations ganged up on us. Okay? That unity broke in World War I. Example, the American Antichrist gave the so-called American Negroes permission to shoot Germans. And so when our brothers seen, you can shoot one and they die like the rest of us? Okay. Think of the mindset now. Okay. And so when they come back home, they ain't taking no jump from this man here. That's when after that war in 1919, it was called Bloody Summer. Had a big race war. And who was shooting? Former black military that fought for this country in World War I. They came back and was treated worse than they left. So they kind of got attitude. Okay? There's a large race riot in Chicago in 1919. Then they had another falling out win. World War II. Started gang banging again. Okay? History may not repeat itself, but it rhymed. Okay? Korean War, same thing. Vietnam. Black people fighting for this country, come back home.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Oh.
You got it?
Yeah.
Same. It's a pattern. This man only have one book to use. Once you figure out his book, you can avoid him. You'll be able to navigate.
Right.
Okay. Right. So we I like to quote here. I'm gonna have a quote from Mr. Marcus, from Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Here's some good advice. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation. That's pretty reasonable. Because as we see in the Nation of Islam, it's brought nothing to black people but suffering, shame, and death. Okay? Even with the native people. Okay? The Native Americans in America, they weren't given citizenship until 1924. That was after you went from a population of 500 nations down to 2 million. Okay? And during that time, when they became citizens in 1924, you had a Native American vice president and a half original black man who was the president, Warren G. Harding. Okay? So that's just a little touch of American history. But like they did the Indians, the so-called American Indians, the same thing. Broke up their families, made them speak English, put them in boarding schools. Just snatched the children up and turned them into little white people. Okay? Tortured them. This is in modern times. 1924 was not a long time ago. It may seem like it, but that was recent history. 1924. So you have any questions, brother?
Nah, I'm following.
You good?
I'm wide awake, listening at every point, and everything is coming together. You know, I know my lessons and I know history. You know what I mean? So this is not far fetched.
Yeah. So we have now rounding up with Paul. He's very problematic. As I stated, Paul did not meet Jesus, didn't see Jesus, and his Jesus was a cosmic Jesus. He was a mystic. See, in his version of events, he doesn't mention a resurrection. All right? And his theology was built about a death and a resurrection. It's not a biological, autobiographical account of Jesus. He's a mystic. Okay. He has a cosmic, he's talking about a cosmic savior. He never described a virgin birth. That's what I meant to say. He didn't describe a virgin birth. Remember, in his event, his worldview of Jesus, his religion that he was concocting, Jesus was with God from the beginning of time. And I know you hear Christians saying that. Right. Okay. So he was a cosmic savior. His Jesus was a cosmic savior, not biographical. And like Barnabas was an autobiographical. He gave an autobiographical account of Isa or Jesus because he was there. He saw him. And Barnabas was killed. And they tried to burn most of his gospels, his account. Okay. So the writers of the gospels came 70 years after Isa was dead. The four gospels that they use. That's Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. And they were for different communities across the Roman Empire. Also another symbology in the way they had the four gospels laid out. Each one is different. Each one gives a different account, different lineage, different bloodlines. They have different bloodlines. Some gospels have Jesus staying on the cross 9 hours. Some 12 hours. Okay? So it's symbolic of the 4 seasons, 4 different seasons. It's a lot in there. There's a lot of symbology. See, the Bible is an esoteric book.
Exactly.
That's what the Bible is. Yeah. Okay. That's an esoteric book. Now, I'm in the chapter of the Holy Quran right now. I just want to go over some things. Jesus didn't die on the cross. That's in the Bible. I also have in the Holy Quran. So I'm in Holy Quran, chapter 4. And I'm using Maulana Muhammad translation. Now I'm in these footnotes. And he has laid it out beautifully. And you can go behind him for yourself. And it proves in the Bible that Jesus did not die on the Bible, or die on the cross. Mm-hmm. He did not die on the cross. Okay, so they say Jesus remained on the cross only a few hours in Mark 15:25, and in John 19:14. But death by crucifixion was always tardy. People just died right away on that Roman execution device. Okay. Number 2, the 2 men crucified with Jesus were still alive when taken down from the cross. The presumption that is that Jesus too was alive. Number 3, the breaking of the legs was resorted to in the case of the 2 criminals, but dispensed with in the case of Jesus. And you can find this in John 19, verse 32 and 33. Number 4, the side of Jesus being pierced and blood rushing out, and this was a certain sign of life. If you stab a corpse, blood is not going to shoot out of a corpse.
Real quick, one question.
Yes, sir.
This person's like asked the same question like 4 times. And I was gonna just block them, but I'm not gonna do that. Where can we learn safely about Esau in order to know his message?
Safely?
Safely. That's what he said.
I can say, well, you can learn about Esau's message and the true history of Jesus by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Holy Quran. Okay. In the Holy Quran, they have Isa or Jesus asking the question, which one will help me in the cause of Allah? Right?
So you're saying Elijah Muhammad, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and you're saying the Holy Quran. That's
Holy Quran.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Jesus was a prophet. Jesus was a prophet. Isa was a prophet. He's a verified prophet. He prophesied of the coming of one called Ahmed or Muhammad. That's in the Holy Quran. Ahmed, Muhammad, Mahmed, Ahmed. Same thing. One worthy of praise. Right? There's some other books that you can on this subject. Egypt, the Light of the World by Gerald Massey. The Anacalyptus by Godfrey Higgins. All right. Sex and Race by J. Rogers. Okay. All right. So another detail. Okay. Jesus was buried like two criminals, but was given unto charge by a wealthy disciple who took care of him and put him in a spacious tomb. And a rock was rolled in front of the door. And you find that in Mark 46. When the tomb was then opened on the third day, the stone was found to have been removed from the mouth of the cave. So when Mary saw him, she mistook him for a gardener. And according to the story, right? Now, if he rose from the dead, why is he in disguise? That's in the Bible. He's just in disguise as a gardener. Why? Because he didn't die on the cross. That's in the Bible. So the fact you saying Jesus died and rose from the dead after 3 days, he didn't die on the cross. And this Mary's looking at the holes in his hands.
Now, what verse, chapter, verse?
Okay. So we have Mary saw him, took him for a gardener. This is in John 20 and 15, which shows that Jesus had disguised himself as a gardener. So you got here, such a disguise would not have been needed if Jesus had risen from the dead. We have to use reason. Okay? And logic. This is in the Bible. So when Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that Jesus, he said that both Bible and the Quran states that Jesus did not die on the cross. He wasn't lying. Okay, the Holy Quran states this. And for their saying, we have killed the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, the messenger of Allah, and they killed him not. Not like that on the cross. The Quran says, but he was made to appear to them as such. Now we know the true story. The historical Jesus was stabbed in the chest by a Roman soldier. And he collected $2,500 in gold. Because Jesus was worth more dead than he was alive. Jesus agreed with the soldier because the soldier told Isa that if I take you in alive, they're going to chop you to pieces. So let me collect the reward. And it'd be quick. And that's what happened. So when he died with his arms outstretched up against a building in the form of a cross. That's what happened for real. Okay. But even in the story, the story in the Bible, he still did not die on the cross. Because he's in disguise a few days later. Now, Friday, he's supposed to have died on a Friday and rose Sunday. That's not 3 days.
I didn't think of that. I didn't really think of that. Oh man, hold on, brother. Hold on. You mean to tell me nobody figured this out, yo? Nobody thought about this? Yo, chat, man. Y'all hear this, man? Think about what he just said. We got creator of the boundaryless universe. Thank you for the $5, brother. It's greatly appreciated. That goes to the NYP expenses, so we can keep everything on. The Circle 7 Quran for the people who love Jesus, and speaking of the 18 missing years of life. Yes. Okay. All right, that's true. All right. Has Brother Minister revealed this information to Christians that he knows whether they're black or white? That's a question on the table right now.
Anybody that listened to me over the years,
And he said, what was the outcome?
some believed it, some was in shock. And see, it's like this, brother. For a true person that's seeking the truth, one good source is good enough for that person. One good bit of fact. Okay. One proof. Now, for the doubters who are locked in, okay, want to, forever, because it's messing with their comfort zone. If I brought them 1,000 things to prove it, they wouldn't believe it, wouldn't accept it, or they'd know it's the truth and work against it.
Right. Now, that's the thing about how I think personally, right? So like I'm always trying to disprove whatever's in my mind. Right. So I'm saying like this lesson says this, that, and the third. Okay, what says contrary to that? So I'm always trying to find the contrary to whatever lesson I know and whatever thought I have. To Brother Ben, thank you for the $5. Greatly appreciated, brother. People don't know we do have bills for this podcast, and it's gonna go to that, brother. So now there we go. Anything else you want to add to this bill, brother?
Well, I would like to bring up three books that I think people should get. Also, you can go on my blog, Ahmed EL 77 at wordpress.com. All right. And I would appreciate if you pick up my copy of The Death of Satan. You can get this book at Amazon.com. Also, a book that was co-written by myself and Sister Nadia Miriam called Defending the Good Name of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Muslims of the Lost Found Nation of Islam in the Wilderness of North America. Also on Amazon.com. And third and final book, every Muslim who says they follow the teachings of Islam as taught by Master Farad Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is a true masterpiece, must have. This here, Master Farad Muhammad is God, debunking the Ford deception.
That's yours right there?
No. This is written by Mustafa Amin.
I need that book so bad, brother.
This is a book right here, bro. I was honored to write the foreword to the book. Brother asked me to write the foreword. When I read the everything in it, I said I had to. This is a masterpiece right here. This is a modern classic.
The Ford deception.
Yes.
Yeah.
He proves that Wally D. Ford is not nowhere near Master Farad Muhammad. They're not one of the same people. They're two different people. He proves it's a hoax. The Messenger put that lie to bed back in the 60s in the Muhammad Speaks. Randolph Horus, he offered to $100,000 to prove it. Okay, that they were the same people. All right. He knew how Master Farad Muhammad looked. He's a first-hand account. Minister John, too. Minister Brother Johnny, Sister Emma. My minister, Brother John. Ford? Let me go look at this picture here. This cat. This cat here.
Yeah.
That dude.
Yeah. Is that the same guy? I think that's the same guy that had a fez on in front of the Moorish Science Temple around Noble Drew Ali. What year was that?
That's in the 20s.
Right.
Well, you get this book. All right. That's not Master Farad Muhammad. So yeah, this gentleman did excellent research, did handwriting analysis, the whole shot, photograph analysis. Prove it. Two different people, brother. The messenger put that, like I said, the messenger put that to bed back in the 60s, early 60s. But they keep regurgitating that lie. All right. They couldn't even get the lie straight. First, they were saying Master Farad Muhammad is where he said he was from, first of all. His father is who he said his father was. His mother is who he said his mother was. He's from Mecca, Arabia. Wasn't no Saudi Arabia at that time. He's from Mecca, Arabia. When he was born in 1877, he was from Mecca, Arabia.
So I got a brother saying Davis Ford L.
Who's that?
It's a brother.
Wally Ford? The Ford deception?
David Ford L.
That could be. But I know it's not Master Farad Muhammad. I know that. Okay. That's two different people. I knew the man who cut Master Farad Muhammad's hair. I knew the man who cut Master Farad Muhammad's hair. Minister John Muhammad. He told me how he used to have to prepare to cut Master Farad Muhammad's hair. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He even told me what style that is. That's a British schoolboy cut. He used to take a lemon and squeeze it in a glass and rub the juice of the lemon into Master Farad's hair, then cut his hair. And all the while he was cutting Master Farad's hair, Master Farad Muhammad is teaching him Islam. Okay. Yeah, I knew people firsthand account, but that's the book right there, brother.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Next time you come up, we got to have your stuff on the screen so people could Google it
I had sent some pictures. I sent them to you. Could I do it that way?
Yeah. Send them to me.
Okay. I sent you want me to send it to your email or
text them to me.
Text them to you, bet.
Yeah.
Very good, brother.
Yes, sir.
Once again, it's a nice conversation, brother. I thank you for having me on.
Oh, no problem, man. Thank you.
We went a little bit over, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, that's fine, though. That's fine, brother. That's fine.
All right.
Thank you for coming out this evening. I really appreciate you. Thank you for everyone on the chat.
Thank you.
Check-in. I really appreciate you guys. I told you last week, I think we're doing less lives, more pre-recorded. So you're going to see another, I don't know if you're going to see another live this week, but you're going to see at least 2 next week. So you're going to see at least 2 to 3 lives a week, and the rest going to be pre-recorded. So look out for what's coming up next. Tomorrow we're talking about hip hop coming from the West Coast and the East Coast, and that's going to be pre-recorded. We'll put out during the weekend. On that note, thank you guys for coming out again. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we are out of here. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.